What I actually research before my buyers write an offer in Santa Fe, the details most buyers never see. If you're thinking about buying a home in Santa Fe, I want to show you something most buyers never see, because what you see online is only part of the story. What really matters is everything behind the scenes. The details that are not obvious, the things that can impact your enjoyment of the home, your ability to insure it, and even your ability to use it the way you want. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I dig up on a property before my buyers ever write an offer. And by the end of this, you're going to understand why having the right broker in Santa Fe is not optional. The MLS history tells a story. So the first place I go is the MLS history. Not just the current listing, the full history. What I'm looking for are how many times has the property been on the market? How many times has it sold? Are there contracts that have terminated since it was last sold? When did price reductions happen? How long did it sit before going under contract? Because all of this tells a story. And here is something I am seeing over and over again this year. Listings that look new are actually not new. There are ways brokers can relist a property so it appears fresh in the system. But when you dig into the history, you may find it was on the market just a few months ago and did not sell. That matters because it gives us leverage and insight before we ever write an offer. I review the past disclosures and documents. So I'll look through the MLS and see what documents have been uploaded on previous listings, not just on the current listing. Old disclosures can contain information that is no longer highlighted. Inspection reports, repair notes, property issues that may not be front and center anymore. Sometimes the most useful information is not in the current listing at all. What is around the property? This is a big one. I look at what is around the property, not just the property itself. Are there vacant land parcels nearby? Could those be developed? Is the view protected, or could it change based on the development of those land parcels? This is especially important in Santa Fe, where land and views are a major part of value. Zoning and use restrictions. So I check zoning. What is allowed on that property? What could be built nearby? If the home is historic, are there restrictions on remodeling? Santa Fe has very specific rules in certain areas, and you want to understand those before you fall in love with a property. Legal access. This one surprises a lot of buyers. Legal access can be an issue, especially in older parts of Santa Fe. Just because there is a road does not always mean there is legal access. If that is unclear, I dig into it, because this is not something you want to discover later in the process. Covenants, conditions, restrictions. If I can obtain the CC&Rs, I review them, send them to my buyers to review. These documents can dictate everything from architectural guidelines to rental restrictions to what you can and cannot do on the property. They matter more than buyers expect. Short-term rental rules. This is a big one for many buyers. Are short-term rentals allowed? Specifically, rentals of 30 days or less. Santa Fe has very specific rules depending on location and zoning, and then there's condo rules, HOA rules. If this is part of your plan, we need to know that up front. What about lifestyle factors that are not obvious? Some of the most important things are not in the listing at all. Is there a busy road nearby? Is there a train that runs within earshot of the property? Are there public walking trails close to the home that could impact your privacy? These are the kinds of things that affect daily life, and they are easy to miss if you are only looking at photos. Road conditions and access. In Santa Fe, this matters more than people expect. Is the home on a paved road or a dirt road? There are a lot of dirt roads in Santa Fe. That can impact maintenance, access during weather, dust getting into your home, and overall convenience. Also, how close to the property is a highway? You may not notice that on a quick showing, but it can matter long term. Outdoor living and orientation in Santa Fe. Outdoor living is a huge part of the Santa Fe lifestyle, so I'm always thinking about how the property functions outside. Where is the sun exposure? If your portal faces west, is there a sunshade? Is there usable outdoor space? Does the property offer privacy? This is not just about square footage inside the home. It is about how you live in the space. Wildfire risk and insurance reality. If a property is near state or federal land with dense trees, we need to think about wildfire risk, and more importantly, insurance. Can the property obtain wildfire insurance at a reasonable rate? This is becoming a major factor in buying decisions, and it is something you want clarity on early. Construction materials that can create issues. I also look at when the home was built, because certain time periods are associated with specific materials that can be problematic. Things like Entran 2 or Kitec plumbing. If the home falls into one of those time frames, I want to know whether the seller has investigated or remediated those issues. What about warranties with recent improvements? If the listing mentions a new roof, new stucco, new windows, I ask, are there transferable warranties? Because that adds real value and protection for the buyer. And it is not always automatically included. So the bigger picture, all of this happens before we even talk about writing an offer. Because the goal is not just to get you under contract, the goal is to make sure you are making a smart decision. A decision that holds up not just on day one, but years down the line. So this is what I mean when I say I dig into a property. MLS history, past disclosures, the surrounding land, zoning and restrictions, access, insurance considerations, construction details, lifestyle factors. These are the things that do not show up in a highlight reel, but they are the things that matter. And if you are planning to buy in Santa Fe, this level of research is not optional. And it is exactly how I help my buyers avoid surprises and make confident decisions regardless of their price point. Every buyer deserves this level of white glove service. I also hold the Santa Fe Specialist designation, which means I have completed advanced coursework focused on the history, land use, water rights, architectural styles, zoning, neighborhood nuances, and cultural foundations that make Santa Fe unique. It allows me to guide you through all of this with a deeper level of understanding. If you are thinking about making a move, reach out. We can walk through your goals and build a strategy that works for you. And if this video was helpful, like and subscribe so you can continue learning what living in Santa Fe is really like. I'll see you on the next one.